What's up, y'all, and welcome to Daytime Talk After Dark. Getting ready to join us right before the weekend. Yes, I'm excited. I'm joined by Tori Shulman.
Yes. Hello.
Lord have mercy.
I'm
also joined by
Tori's
Erica
been
Cobb.
on a 5-second delay.
I have been. I'm so sorry. I was
Yes.
catching up with why it's the weekend. Did you get it?
Yes.
I get it now.
And
hello, everyone.
Oh, I was already on to Jeff. It really is like it's beaming down from a satellite, and it's just hitting you.
I'm buffering.
I am Al Jackson. We're excited for you guys to be here. We have lots of good stories, and I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys because we have a lot to talk about.
All right.
This is something we did not talk about that I told you I was going to come at you with. I kind of teased it in between, but let's talk about it now. We've talked about OnlyFans before on the show. OnlyFans is a site where people can basically have subscriptions to have access to people. Sometimes they're scantily clad, sometimes they're not, whatever. You just want to be with this person. Yes, feet pics, whatever you're into. We do not kink shame. But there is somebody named Sophie Rain. Is anybody familiar with Sophie Rain?
She made like some ridiculous amount of money.
I'd say so. Sophie Rain made $43 million on OnlyFans last year. Wow. And her hook is, any guesses?
So if I'm thinking she does stuff in the rain?
No.
Okay.
That would be really
Sophie Rain.
nail on the head. Erica, any guesses as to what her hook is? Jeff?
And by hook, you mean like what does she show? Because that's the first thing.
Not even what she showed. What makes her different than the other? Why did she make 43 million?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
How many athletes made that last year? How many entertainers? 43 million.
Well, here's my first question: is she nude while she's doing whatever she's doing?
I don't know. The pictures I see are that she's scantily clad. This is TMZ. I'll have to go home and be able to check for sure on my official site.
But I'm always curious about that. When
Right.
someone makes that much money, can you just do it with feet pics and don't necessarily have to be
I think
naked?
it's
Are you
about-
asking for a friend?
Yeah, well, I haven't worked in 3 months. But yeah, so what? Yeah, what is it? I have no idea.
Her hook is that she's a virgin.
So maybe not naked.
Right.
Or maybe naked.
It does. It seems like, I mean, she is in this picture. She's wearing Daisy Dukes in a way that like will make Daisy Dukes blush. But you know,
How does we know she's a virgin? She says she's a virgin.
I guess so, and that's a great point too. How do you really prove or disprove that? But maybe it doesn't matter, Tori. Maybe it's the fantasy. So really quickly, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. Does it bother you that somebody made $43 million last year on OnlyFans?
No, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum.
What is that? That sounds like
That sounds like a hook.
Yeah, that sounds like it's $5 extra a month to get. Yeah.
By the way, Lily Allen, speaking of famous singer, makes more money from selling her feet on OnlyFans than she does from all of her Spotify streams.
What's her famous song? No, what's her famous song?
Oh, I don't know.
That's why.
But does any of you know a Lily Allen song?
Oh, there goes. That was a pretty quick answer.
You know, here's the reaction. I don't know if she's right or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know any of them. Yeah,
She's smiling because of her
She
own
just said a word.
money.
I
Right,
do
that's a
know
good
Lily
point.
Allen. For some reason, I was looking at her videos for maybe she was dating an athlete or something. And I looked up how many views. Like that song "Smile" has like 300-400 million views. Like, so she's a famous singer.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting that, you know, no matter how big you get, people would rather see your feet.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
Anyway, that's very
But yeah,
strange.
I found myself kind of low key hating. I was disappointed in myself, but I was like, $43 million. That's a lot of. That's so much money, Erica. I know.
Yeah.
But there's I know.
I think what we all strive to do in this life is to figure out what we're really special and good at. And if you lean into that, amazing things can happen. And she found her hook.
Let me
That's
push
what
back
it
on
is.
that, because I think if a young woman, let's just say Sophie Rain, who is not an OnlyFans model, said, Erica, I think what I have to offer to the world is my looks. I don't know if I think you'd say you've got other things going for you.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think this conversation, it gets very interesting when people are like, I don't want to be known for my looks or, you know, my body or whatever. And it's like, I mean, that's a perspective. But if you are able to capitalize on something that either you worked for or maybe it was just genetically gifted to you, I say do it. When I was in college, I modeled. I was in Ebony magazine. I had a full thing at when Dick's was Galleons. Dick's Sporting Goods was Galleons. I paid for my books and a lot of my costs and stuff through modeling. Can I model now? No. I'm glad I did it then. It's not that it was the only thing that I could possibly do with my life, but if someone's like, yeah, I'm that's what I want to contribute to the world, well, come up with the business plan and figure out how to do that effectively, because you can pay for some of your livelihood, maybe all of your livelihood.
I model so much it hurts.
You should. You're gorgeous.
Thank you. Can we move on?
Okay. Let's talk about something that everybody is talking about, and that is
Model T.
This
popped in my head.
I wanted to talk about the person that is quantified as voluntarily missing. This is a woman in Maui. Tori, catch us up on Hannah Kobayashi.
Okay, so as of right now, yes, that's correct. So her name is Hannah Kobayashi. She's 30 years old. Have you guys heard of this story?
Yes.
You have heard of this story. You have. Okay. It's kind of everywhere, but she and her ex-boyfriend were leaving from Maui to go to New York to visit an aunt. And they had a connecting flight. And there's video footage of her, which has gone really famous, of her in rainbow striped pants, getting off of the plane and for her in LAX, and she's wearing like a black shirt. And she's last seen.
What kind of watch does she have on? Let's go.
Okay, sorry, but that image went everywhere.
Very famous, and the hair.
And she is getting off and then she never made her connecting flight. Her boyfriend did, and everyone started to get really worried. Then
why were there pictures of her getting off the plane?
Security fame.
I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
Last known.
I thought she was taking
footage.
selfies or something. Okay.
And so everyone on my feed was like, "Have you seen this woman in LA? Because that's the last we've seen of her." So then she started sending texts to her family that were like, "I've gotten screwed out of a lot of almost all of my money." And she's missed her connecting flight by now. And then she's like, all for someone I really, really cared about. The next sighting, she's at the Nike store in the Grove by the LeBron James section. And her family's like trying to reach her. She's gone, like they're saying we've called the police. And now it's gone national. So then we haven't seen very much of her after that. And everyone's like, what's going on? Then her father unalives himself, I think is the right way to say that, unfortunately, because he is so distraught. This is all within like the past week.
I didn't know this part.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that part is where I was like, that's when I started paying attention, because I'm like, it's been a few days, and not to say that this isn't like a stressful thing to not know where your child is. I mean, she's an adult, but to not know, but to unalive yourself just a few days after, wasn't it like 3 days after she went missing?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So there's now they're mourning him and questioning her. And again, she said one of her last texts said, "I just finished a very intense spiritual awakening. I'm heading back to the airport to get to New York City. I might need some help getting there." And so they're still trying to say where she's missing, but now apparently
did someone text her back about
everybody
her father?
They've called her, they've been like, we need to know about we tried to tell her about the father, they're trying to get any information, but now apparently she was seen voluntarily crossing the border into Mexico
on foot,
yeah, and they are now saying she crossed into Mexico alone.
Oh boy, it's one of the. I can't believe I haven't.
So I don't know why you haven't heard this, but you will. It's really picked up.
A lot of Christmas stuff. The kids were off last week.
Okay,
so I'm kind of glad I'm not into that. But this kind of turns into a whole internet sleuth, and we found her here, and people like
web
What
sleuth.
was the story where? I don't want to get too
Gabby
graphic.
Petito, remember that?
Desert,
Lord.
remember that?
You remember Gabby
That's
and
what it reminds
Brian?
me
That's
of.
right.
No, the desert?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the desert?
They were in
With their
Utah.
van.
They were in Utah.
Yeah, with their
And
van.
then there was sightings here, and
And they were
everyone's like, I
vlogging
saw
each
her
other.
Here, so I don't know. It's going to be another one of those, right?
Yes,
Is that-
correct.
No,
the
Wait,
that-
I thought Gabby Petito was the one that was staying with her ex-boyfriend.
No, Gabby was the one that was killed by her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie.
right.
Remember?
That's right.
And the parents hid it and
Oh.
weren't cooperative at all.
journals.
Yes,
People are looking
yes.
all over for her.
Yes. Also,
I thought you were talking
the
about
cops
the one
dropped
who
the
they
ball
just
in a way
did
that we will talk about on
Yeah, but
another
the
show.
internet really got into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this will happen again. She crossed on November 12th, just
Are they
after
sure
noon.
it's her?
They're saying it's her. She was on foot and used the San I never say this right. She crossed on foot, I'll just say.
Nabisco.
No, it's Ysidro. I hope I'm saying that. I hate feeling ignorant about that. I apologize.
Because you
but
can't pronounce
they
something?
found no evidence that she's being trafficked or has foul play. But her family is saying that there's a problem, and the police are like, she went there voluntarily. So now it's like not in their jurisdiction. So all these texts are so weird. All of these feelings. They said the text didn't sound like her, but the visuals are strange because she's standing there on the at the Grove in LA. So it's very weird, and we will hear more about it. But I wanted to let everybody know that's the update for now. But we'll give you more as the story progresses.
In the sidebar, the Grove is lovely this time of year.
You know what? Fake
During
snows.
Christmas
It's
time,
delightful.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, her dad passing. This whole thing.
It's super.
It's turned
super
into a whole
weird.
mystery.
I'm in already, and I don't even know anything. And I'm already intrigued.
I mean, we're all kind of just waiting
hope
for the
she's
Netflix
okay.
series, which is 100% coming.
Yeah.
Speaking about Netflix series, man, I'm so good at transitions. I just want to get up and leave. That was perfect. Jeff,
Maybe a transition.
another perfect transition. Jeff, you watched the Netflix series, as did I. I don't know if you two did. You two did about the JonBenét Ramsey
Yes,
murders.
yes.
Eric, I know that's not really your jam. Tori, before I get to Jeff, what were your initial thoughts, and what did you know before you watched it?
And I watched the newest one that was about, if you don't know, there's the brother and the parents, and everybody had been accused. And the latest one was that Burke, the brother, had done it because she ate some of his pineapple snacks that were left on the counter in the kitchen.
CBS put that out.
CBS put it out.
Yeah.
He sued the brother and won, or they settled, excuse me. But I thought for sure, Al, I would have bet my whole house that the mother, the father, or the son, the brother of JonBenét, had something to do with it. After watching this 3 episodes, I am convinced that I am wrong.
Absolutely.
They had zero to do with it. I thought the ransom note was made up. I thought all of it was written by the mother. I was so wrong, and I am so sorry. That poor mother lost her life after, I think, ovarian cancer, and she never got to ever get exonerated the way that I hope Mr. Ramsey does now, John Ramsey does now.
And he lost a daughter as well.
His eldest Beth was killed in an auto
Right, from a
accident.
different marriage.
That's right. But my God, they had nothing to do with
That
it.
family has had
I'm
so
with
much
Tori,
tragedy.
and I know how a documentary could kind of sway you one way or the other, but these documentaries coming out now are putting in information that I didn't know. Like again with the Menendez brothers, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know that went on, and the documentary really made me open my eyes and change my mind about that. JonBenét, I just remember the world was just fascinating. That's kind of like, if I remember my childhood, my mom was like obsessed with that, and I could just see the Enquirer magazine, just like JonBenét.
The pageantry,
you know, that. I just that's like my childhood. But I didn't really. I heard Burke did it. I heard the mom did it. I heard the dad did it. I never really had an opinion or an answer. I watched that. I'm like, wow, same as you. That mother died of cancer.
Yeah.
Thinking the whole world thought she murdered her kid. The father lost 2 kids and a wife, and he's still doing interviews to this day. The fashion in which she was killed
was horrific.
was so horrific. Being a parent, and I understand there's some sick people out there. I don't think you could fathom doing that. The lead detective was laughable. Every single question they asked him, it was the exact wrong answer. Like, it was making me so mad that the whole world and society bought onto this story, and the police didn't budge.
Right.
They didn't budge. The press didn't budge. They never looked the other way. Their only thing was, hey, nobody came from the outside because there was be footsteps in the snow. There was no snow. Didn't someone at the police department go, guys, here's the photo. There was no snow. But back then, you couldn't be wrong. The press didn't want to be wrong. Police departments didn't want to be wrong. That's why so many people were convicted wrongfully, because they wanted to get that stamp of approval. We got our guy. And they thought they had their guy. They led the media down the wrong path.
awful.
And a lot of them
purposefully.
And a lot of the people covering that were way off too, and they were only
You're
doing
talking about reporters?
The journalists.
They were in Boulder. They were way off so
Were
much.
horrible.
And they were sued. So John Ramsey sued all of them, the police department, and he settled and basically won.
It makes me, I get a
Makes me
little
sick.
mad about because
Me
of being
too.
a
No,
parent.
you should
and
get
having
mad.
everyone
Sick.
think that way
I
about
can't
you.
imagine.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I can't imagine
wow.
those poor people.
And they went broke at one point.
Yeah.
Yes, and this
Their
was
house.
You'd get sick over it.
Jeff. You know how, like I've
You
said
don't- yeah.
since the first day you met me, and I stand by this, and I've never been wrong. I don't think ever. Hip hop explains everything, And remember, I remember telling Jeff one time when he was like, "Oh, people don't want to hear what I said." Think about what Biggie said: "Spit your game, talk your S." And in this situation with hip hop, what do they say? Never talk to the cops. Oh, that's officer friendly. He's here to.
But
to
they
be
didn't
your
talk
friend.
to the cops.
Every single documentary that you see, either the cops didn't do anything, or in this case, they got to the crime scene, effed up the crime scene,
Missed the kid.
didn't even find the kid. The
Didn't
dad
find-
found her. The cops had been in the house for hours, like 5-6 hours.
It was like 6 hours.
right,
Yeah, something like that.
and
6 hours looking for her body.
no.
She thought they thought she was missing.
And they did a preliminary
find her
search.
because her bed, they took her out of her bed. Now even the way the sheets were pulled makes it seem like she was pulled out of the bed instead of like coaxed somewhere. So there was like this basement, down basement.
It's a
like
weird
this
house.
storage
It's a
room,
weird house.
And she was found in there 6 hours later after the parents invited their friends over. First of all, if you killed your kid, you wouldn't be like, come over for coffee and cake and let's figure this out together. All their friends came over. Police were walking all over. The whole crime scene got discombobulated. And the cops go, why don't you do something and go look for your daughter in the house? So he's like, okay. So he goes, I'm just going to start in the basement. He went down there and found her. And there was duct tape on her mouth, ripped it off and ran upstairs. And then all that got used against him.
right. They were like, "How'd you know what room she was
Yeah.
in?" The
He's like, I
issue
started
is-
in the basement because that's where you start from the bottom and go
The
up.
DNA got screwed up.
Yeah, everything.
Everything got screwed
And
up.
Tori, you said something so on
I'm telling
point.
you, if you watch that, you're going to be sick.
Yeah, but what Tori said was a natural human response.
Yeah.
Tori said, I was so sure the parents did it. And the cops were so sure the parents did that they spent 1.5 years going after the parents. And then after
year and a half?
Yeah, they spent,
Way longer than that.
They spent after they even knew, like, I think this might be really bad. We might be wrong.
Yeah.
They tried to double and triple down and be like, no, well,
Then they got sued, so it went on a long time.
they got sued, but I mean, they destroyed these people's lives. They never found the killer because the killer had almost a 5-year head start.
But John is saying this, and I will say Boulder police are saying that this year alone, he believes that they will solve it because they're using genetic genealogy, which will tell them of the DNA in which they do have, unfortunately, in places you don't even want to know about.
Yeah.
They
All the
have
places you don't.
You really don't, but they will find family members of it. This is how they found BTK.
Why are they saying this?
Because
why not just do it?
They are.
They don't want
They
to
are.
be proven wrong.
Right, but John
That's
Ramsey's
why,
saying they're
in my mind.
currently using genetic genealogy. So at least we know that this case isn't sitting on a shelf. They're moving forward, and he's clearly wanting to publicize that. So they are going to find this, just like BTK. By the way, genetic genealogy, this will solve cold cases from here on out.
But shame on like even CBS just a
guy?
couple years ago. I hope it's
Jeff.
CBS or
Completely
ABC.
agree.
They are blaming the 9-year-old brother.
Yeah.
Okay, not to get too graphic, Erica, and whatever. There was a little stick that they
garrote.
tied. Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Garrote.
A garrote that was tied in a certain fashion and pulled so deep into JonBenét's throat that you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it till you took it off.
With, like,
There's
sailor's knots.
Yeah. There's no way a 9-year-old, I have an 8-year-old. There's no way he could pull something like that through somebody's neck. You can't do it.
Right.
And to go back just a couple of years ago and say that it was that kid, he didn't even do the interviews, by the way, because he's so distraught.
And he
since
sued
was 9
CBS
years
for
old
it.
about the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder just how powerful social media is. Even us saying this now, there's people out there saying, you're wrong and you're an idiot. I know it was the
John
mom.
says there'll be
But
10% of people
yes,
who will always
that
in
are
their
still
heart
brainwashed.
say
Well,
it will be
but
me.
here's the thing about the JonBenét case and the mother and why people were so quick to vilify the mother is because the reason why JonBenét became international headlines was because most of us outside of like, you know, in the South where this was more of a prevalent thing, hadn't seen a little girl looking like a
Sexualized
doll.
away, they said,
And
yeah.
it felt like, you know, if you weren't from that type of like culture where, you know, oh, this is what we do. We dress our kids up and they look like little women. And we in the Midwest were freaked out by that.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right. That's a great
and
point.
it was like,
The
you know,
visuals were very
why
uncomfortable,
is
yeah.
this little baby dressed like a woman? And so there was a lot of people who wanted to go after the mother because they were like, you set your child up to have something like this happen. And that's the truth.
Yeah,
Which, by the
you're
way-
right. That's a great point because the over-sexualization of her I think is wrong too.
And I agree with
but
you.
some people do pageants and they like that.
And the
but
mother did.
not to the level of the scrutiny which they.
Right, but at the same point, what they're saying is perhaps someone who was in those pageants and watching had something to do with it, and you set your daughter up for that by doing that. So like, you're right, there is a weird sexual component because the main detective still believes that it was somebody out there that was following her from her fame, from all of this.
But there was a good detective that came in later.
Smith, remember?
Yes,
Yeah.
and he saved the day. But
best.
I will say this, lastly, before we go on to something way more positive, I promise, I will just say in terms of the sexual nature of those photos and those videos, why did we, the public, pre-internet, even have access to those? Because the police made sure that the person that was the videographer for all those pageants sold those photos to major news outlets. So they further dumped gasoline on a forest fire to make sure that this stage 4 ovarian cancer survivor that was in remission be tried for her daughter's murder. It was ghastly. And the fact that those cops were able to come on television and talk.
How about how
I was like, you guys are sociopaths.
What was Larry King doing with that guy, the cops, and the two parents sitting next to each other?
Everybody's hands are dirty with all
That
that
was
stuff.
the time of
Yeah.
Springer and all those
Geraldo.
Sensationalism.
Oh my
yes.
God,
All right. Well, let's
disgusting. Okay,
talk about
sorry.
something I thought was sensational really quickly. Unlike Harry and Meghan, who I thought the television and podcasts they produced were horrible, Michelle Obama has come through with a grand slam with the show called Later Daters. It's just basically
That's a weird intro. Nobody knows what you're talking. I know what you're talking about.
Later Daters.
Is it just older people dating?
Yes, it's Golden Bachelor, but it's regular people kind of. Not like, like the Bachelor people are like.
It's not so produced. It's
Right.
like normal Alice.
But I thought it was excellent. The characters are funny.
Oh, I can't wait.
And I was saying, I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen yet. It's still pretty new. You can watch the whole first season. It was so interesting that now we've gone from older folks saying, oh, I'm 61, I can't date anymore, to now when I watch these shows, these dating shows, I told my girlfriend Sarah, I was like, these are going to save dating shows. Because when younger people do them, even people in their 30s, there's still an agenda there. When there was Married at First Sight in Denver, they tried to do some collusional plot thing. When you watch people in their late 50s, early 60s trying to date, they date with a word that I used to hate. They date with intention. They know themselves. They've been through a divorce or two. Their kids are grown. And it's just like, it reminded me strangely of Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
When you don't have to be the 29-year-old version of who Jeff thinks he is, or got to be this guy that your friends think you are, when you can just be yourself.
I love that show.
It was so fascinating. So I don't think anybody's seen it.
I haven't seen. I've seen it pop up, but I haven't actually watched it.
I would watch it.
I think that was kind of what drew me to The Golden Bachelor in the beginning, because I'm like, who's gonna go on this show at that age and just waste their time to be like, I mean, I guess people still can be like fame hungry and stuff even later in life, but it really felt like, wow, like you might have another chance to like really fall in love. And I love that idea, because you think of people who, who are a little older, and where do you meet people? We've lost our what they call the third place. People don't go to church as much. And then, COVID like knocked out a lot of things for people.
There's no place to commune. There's no
and so
you can't even really go to the park without them.
I mean, you almost need your Amazon driver to be single, and he doesn't even ring your doorbell.
Right? Yeah.
He doesn't stay long at all.
Yeah.
He's
So
in
You
and
guys
out.
sound like some world-class creeps right now.
I was gonna say, is that a business?
I know.
No,
right?
I'm just saying.
You
like,
can't even lock the door behind your Amazon driver anymore.
No, it
where they
makes
order-
me happy to like have people have an opportunity to find someone.
Erica,
I think it's like Love on the Spectrum. I agree. It's real love. It's real trying.
I will. Yeah, Tori, to your point.
Wait, do you remember the pizza with extra anchovies?
on
Yes.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah.
Come on, dog. I'm right
Yes,
there.
the
You go.
pizza guy.
I
And
will,
then you get to have sex with the pizza.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, if
you
you
never
order-
saw Can't Buy Me Love from
That
the
is
80s?
really weird
If you
that
ordered
that happened.
extra anchovies, then he'd come over and have sex
That
with
is
you.
kind of weird now that I think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you don't think Amazon drivers are popping in once in a while?
Yes,
They
they
deliver
are.
everything.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Miss
they are.
Johnson.
Not Miss Johnson.
All right. We have.
I took you guys for a loop there.
a little bit of time, but there was an article that my girl sent me about people, speaking of kind of older folks. It was written by an older woman that was saying that she was talking to her daughter, and her texting etiquette was all wrong according to Gen Z. So her daughter's 22, I think. Oh, so I'm going to ask you guys. I'll ask each person etiquette really quickly. Jeff,
I'm bad at this. I'm the worst.
You just write LOL.
What should you do if you're going to call one of the three of us? What should you do first? According to
I know the answer now. I would just call you, but I should give a heads up
by doing what?
Texting you,
yes.
and saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you a call."
I think that's weird, but yes, I would never do that. Did you guys know that that's not etiquette?
Certain people, and just a handful of people, I call direct. Tori's one of them, because if you give her a heads up, then her anxiety goes through the roof.
I need to just get it
and
over
it's
with.
just better just to call her. And she knows that if I'm calling her, that I need to talk to her. Yeah,
it's true.
Everybody else I text, can you call me when you get a chance?
Good.
Like, I don't even ask if I can call them.
Okay, now Tori, really quickly.
Yeah.
What would be an exception to the texting before you call rule?
You mean just calling me?
Yes.
If someone's hurt, this is where I always go to because of my mom.
An emergency.
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
my mom would call me, and then in the middle, without all of a sudden, she'd FaceTime me in the middle of the call.
Yeah, but it probably wasn't intentional.
No, and she goes, "Why can't I see you?" And I'm like, "We were talking. I don't want to go there. I'm not there."
Right.
I'm not there.
That would really throw me off. Well,
really
Tori, I'm going to ask you the next etiquette.
You know what's funny though? Didn't I text you the other day? Because I don't text. I just call people.
Yeah.
But didn't I text you? Said, "Hey, I'm calling you. Make sure you pick up."
Yes.
So it's like it's the opposite with me. With Tori, I'm like, listen, I need to talk to you. So get over whatever craziness you're going through. I need to talk to you.
Do you know what? And I'm gonna say this so we make a note on the show. I want the three of us to compile a screenshot, because what I'll do is I'll text Tori. I'll tell her, I swear to God, it's good, bad. In all caps. It's not bad.
It's not bad
and then a violent threat about what happens if you don't. That's exactly.
Hurt you and your family.
Yes. I'll be like, Tori, I'm not playing.
Tori philosophy.
Yes. All right. So Tori, talk to the people about when it is okay to leave a voice message.
Oh no, to my dad. That's about it. I mean, if I'm like an appointment, but no one's listening, dude. They're transcribing at most. No one's listening at all. Are you?
I do.
I do not.
If I get a voicemail, I know it's important. That's my
You know what I do, Jeff? I read it.
I said I transcribe it.
I read it, too.
I said it. I said that.
What is that anxiety? Because I do have that too.
So apparently audio, I read up on this. There's something about the audio that gives you the anxiety, but reading it takes all that charge away. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I mean, I just read it
makes
just for keywords to decide if it's important or not.
Me too. You skim it.
And then sometimes I'll just skim it because I'm like, why did this person call me? And two, why did they leave me a voicemail?
Wow. I didn't know people looked into it that much. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
So you hold it up like, hi, it's
because
Jeff.
I get an idea of who the person is or what the news is. Like, hey, Jeff, I'm like, oh, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I don't read it. Or like, hey, Jeff, guess what? Oh, yeah, man, what's up, buddy? You know, like, I don't know. Maybe
you're an audio person.
But I'm also visual. But I'm like, but I leave people messages, and now you think I'm a weirdo?
No. If you left me a message, I probably would read it. But if sometimes those messages get like mixed up in transcribing, so I'll listen to it. That's not a big deal. What I'm saying is like, I've had my same number since 1999. So a lot of people have my number that don't necessarily need to have my number anymore. So out of the blue, I'll get a call from somebody, like out of the blue.
Erica. Yes.
From like that I haven't heard from since like 2002. And I'm like, and I'm not excited to hear from this person because I'm like, why are you calling me?
From the blue.
Yes.
From the blue.
Okay, Erica. Speaking of from the blue.
Oh, man.
Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, you didn't answer. Is it okay if I leave a voice message?
I mailed the letter 2 weeks ago to ask him at school.
I'm just
sent a
making
picture.
sure.
Anytime I get calls like that, it's because it's one or two reasons. Either they're going to ask me for money or they're going to ask me to put them on or introduce them to somebody. And that's why I have
Well, a
that
lot of your
reaction.
friends want to get put on with me, Erica. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
They're just human. Erica, tell the people, is it ever okay to randomly FaceTime someone?
Oh, Judy used to just do this.
Randomly FaceTime. No, but I do it to my mom. Like my mom, she'll answer it regardless of what she's doing. I'll be like, Mom, you could have just ignored the call. Like, I can see you're physically playing pickleball right now. Yeah.
I love
That is so cute. I almost like it.
That's
Almost
so
killed
cute.
me.
I
That was
love
so
that.
cute.
So cute. Like
You see, I got it in the kitchen.
Oh.
Yes, older
That's
folks
so cute.
love FaceTime.
My mom used to love it, and she'd hold it at the ceiling and be like, your eyebrows look dark. I'm like, I can't even see you. I'm looking at your boobs. She was always, no one knew where the camera
What were
was.
boobs on the ceiling for?
Well, she didn't know where to hold
know,
the
just
thing.
joking.
That's a Lionel Richie song, I think. Boobs on the ceiling. All right, Jeff, is it ever okay to leave a video voice message? Like a
What
video,
is that?
a video
You know
message.
how old I
basically.
am? I don't even know how to do that.
Well, just like a FaceTime, but it's a message. Like, hey, this is Jeff.
You could do that?
Yeah. You know when it's acceptable?
I didn't
When
know-
you're on vacation.
I didn't know you could do
Oh,
that.
but that's like
Oh.
you're
Yeah.
flexing a little bit. Though.
No, if it's like an experience or something, like you can.
Oh, you like check out where I'm at Mimo's wedding. See you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
How do you do that? How do you do that?
I don't know how
You
to do
just
that.
hit
Is
the
it a video?
Yeah, you just hit the camera on there. Like you go into the conversation.
Okay. I've never done that.
Or like, or if you run into somebody and you're like, "Oh, Jeff would love this."
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
I'll just record it.
You're just sending voice
Oh, that's
messages like an
interesting.
idiot.
yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna
It
send you a
doesn't- I don't
FaceTime
think
message.
It saves.
okay. Now here I have to.
All right, but we're over, just so you know.
It's fine.
Okay.
What is a missile gonna launch from North Korea? It's fine.
It's not good etiquette, Al.
Yes, I know. Jeff, let me ask you this. Speaking of etiquette, and you are the man of etiquette in public, is it okay to FaceTime in public?
Yeah.
No.
I think that's the only time.
Dude,
Because
no.
now I'm thinking I'm at a game. Erica's got me like at a game. And I want to be like, hey, look who's here.
I don't want
What
to
about-
listen to
what
your
about the
conversation.
airport?
I don't want to hear your conversation.
If
I
you
think
have
I'm
your
Team Tory
earbuds
on this
in.
one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I'm not having a conversation.
Oh.
I'm going to call Erica and be like, hey, I ran into Corinne. Look, what's up? Hey, we're at the Bulls game. See you later. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, how was Thanksgiving?
Jeff, but the thing is, Jeff, you're normal.
Yeah, people do it.
People have extended conversations
agree.
Especially at the
on
airport.
FaceTime,
Yes.
especially at the airport. And Mom, no, I'm not worried to fly. No, I'll tell them when I get there. I'm like, this is a text conversation. And don't even text too loud. You are really annoying everybody, but there are just some people
They don't get
that I
it.
think are almost, what do you call them? Not voyeurs, whatever the opposite of those are, the people that want to be looked at. What do you call those people?
Me?
No, but like the people that want that attention.
No, I know. I had someone on the plane, and we were like on the runway, and she's like, "What are you gonna wear to Taylor Swift?" Full on FaceTiming. Maybe the white shirt. The whole plane could hear her, and everyone was like, "Put it away."
But do you think there is, to Al's point, you think there's something like, we don't know the word,
I
think-
or do you think they're just so
Socially
unaware?
they don't know the
That's what I
cues.
think.
I
Is.
think they're
they're
unaware.
just so ignorant and unaware.
Yeah,
I think it's
their world.
a mixture of both. Because I
narcissism?
generally have like a look for something like that. Like I give a look, or sometimes I'll be like, wow, that's really interesting. Because there's just certain times where you're like, why?
Yeah.
And generally, airports are very high stress situations for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't be
So
like
the
that.
last thing I want to hear is about your outfit for Taylor
God, it was
Swift. Like
so
I
annoying.
don't want to hear it.
I would
That sounds
argue
like a Taylor Swift flex.
the
though.
only thing that
weird.
trumps the FaceTime in public at the airport is, and I have seen this a half a dozen times, and every time it's like seeing Bigfoot, because I can't believe I'm looking at somebody watching a program with no earbuds
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Which I feel like was only a thing after COVID. And I know that like for those 2 years we kind of got unsocialized, but that is the craziest thing that you could do. Just watching Everybody Loves Ray loud, laughing.
Ray.
I'm like,
It's not
you
Everyone
look
Loves
like
Ray.
a crazy
It's
person.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
All right.
Al watches the black version.
Yes. Everybody loves Ray Butler.
Yeah.
Hard-working
You don't know
gentleman.
that, Ray. You don't know that, Ray.
All right. And last question from this. You guys did great on the quiz. Who knows what fubbing is?
Oh, when you snub someone on the phone. So if Erica's talking to me and I'm like, oh, really? I'm snubbing you, but I'm fubbing you because I'm using the phone to snub.
Wow,
Check
you were
out-
pretty
check
direct
out-
with that one.
I
How'd
know.
you know
It's
that?
like-
You know why?
Because you
Because
get fubbed a lot?
I get fubbed by a particular person.
Your husband?
No.
Your mom? Dad?
My mom's
Sister?
passed.
You said her boobs were on the ceiling.
It's true. No, but I've told this person and it's continually happened. And then I've started to fub people. And it's very rude. And I need to stop it.
Well, is a person a family member or a friend?
Friend.
Is it me?
Oh, no.
I would be
What if
very
it wasn't
offended by
you
a
super
fob.
passive aggressive about it?
But I
was like,
fubbed
I don't
lately and
think
I've
I've
started to
done
be like,
that.
ooh, Tori, that's not cool. Because, like, I lived in the analog and digital world and I need to go back. Like, that's not okay.
I don't know, because that's fubbing.
Super rude,
You
I
gotta.
think.
When I'm on my phone and I'm with other people, I just say like, I got to do this
Right.
because, like now I'm working from my phone. I can't
It's
not
different. This
be
is someone
on
scrolling.
my phone.
This is someone scrolling. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, okay. So there's no eye contact. You've lost that sense, right? They're not really listening. There's no active listening. There's no questioning back because you're multitasking.
Well, you know.
What's wrong? What are you looking at?
Oh, I was fubbing you.
And on that note, for Jeff Schroeder, Erica Cobb, Tori Shulman, great
great
job
quiz.
on the quiz. You guys are
Great job.
awesome. I love y'all.
That was great,
Have
Al.
a great weekend. Hey, to our Night Owls, we really appreciate you
Hoot,
guys.
hoot.
Please, there you go. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We need it. It helps the algorithm. We love you guys. Have a good weekend.
Follow us on social media, Fub Tori on social media.
That's right.
It's already happening.